Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening to Mongolian Beef by our special guest. Of course, Harsh messed with all of the settings here. Here we go. By our special guest, Mr. Liam VanDril. I mean, Harsh acts like, we don't do this twice a week. Stop messing with stuff. Please.
I'm sorry, I had to show Liam how the toys were played.
But at least put it back.
Wow.
I didn't mean it like that, you perv. Anyway, welcome to the show,
you
everybody.
said it like that.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the show. We've got, of course, the man holding on the ones and twos, Scott, Ryan, Sonnier. And, of course, Edmonton's own Jackie Hyde. And finally, we got the man of the hour. So, people's favorite musicians. Well, one of favorite musician of mine. Liam VanDril, everybody. Engineer, producer, singer, anything you could think of. How are you doing, sir?
I'm well.
You forgot one, Harsh.
Which one? What did I forget?
And the quiet mouthpiece from behind, Scott. J. Foncannon.
Yeah, I mean, he just
officer here.
He just passed Josh all the way up, just didn't even
to be
care.
fair, he's done a great job blending in the background, so I mean. But anyway,
I gotta wear black gloves and a face mask
Don't worry,
too?
Josh. I remember you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If he would get closer to his mic, you might actually be able to hear him.
Okay, well, at least someone remembers.
Also,
is that better? Do you want me to get closer? Is that better?
No, shut up. Yes, sir.
All right, Liam, how goes it?
Yeah, so we also got my new roommate here, James Edward Hennis, fellow roommate, producer, musical mind, all of those things. Big announcement here is that I've relocated to Westmont from my hometown in Frankfurt. So I am fresh here with all of you guys. I am bunking with this man here, and we are we're doing a lot. I'm going to be operating my production studio business out of here. Yes, I'm beginning to accrue paying clients, songwriters, and producing their work, and so that they have their songs out there. So that's kind of been what I'm working on, as well as producing for myself. I want to begin producing for other songwriters and artists, and also, we James and I are working on a creative project together called the People Readers. We're a psychedelic rock group. We're an emerging psychedelic rock group, and I'm in charge of producing the entire project and mixing all the tracks together and making everything sound.
Tell them about the song.
Yes. So our debut project, People Readers Project, it's currently under my production name, Liam VanDril Audio, but it is a People Reader song that is going to be.
We have guests.
Oh yes, joining us will be our bass player Lucas Ruiz. It is myself. The core members are my James. He's the mind behind all of this. Myself, as the producer, the trumpeter.
Damn it, Michael just showed up.
Oh, yes. And joining us, we've got Damn It, Michael.
I'm only here.
Oh wow, it's a party over there.
Yes, it always is.
I remember the last time I was at James' house. I don't know what strand of weed.
Good questions coming in.
Right.
I've got
I
a
wouldn't
lot of
call those good questions, but
oh boy.
Okay.
Anyway, I remember what do you call it? I remember being at his place one time. I don't know what strand of weed he gave me, and I just couldn't stop laughing every time he played some of his music videos. I was just like, I almost died of laughter at his house.
Yeah. Well, my
I'm sorry, I just had to go through that. But no, how did you guys come to this like new collaborative project based on the stuff you've done in the past? You know.
Well, James and I met back over July. We met at the Tierra Distillery open mic, and we've been kind of in cahoots, collaborating on different stuff. A lot of it hasn't been released yet. A lot of it has been under my productions and things that these are going to be releases I'll be trickling out over the course of this year very soon. I plan to start releasing a lot more stuff under my own name, which I have this collaborative project, but I'm also my own musical mind and producer doing my own completely independent projects.
That's beautiful.
But anyway, yeah, I just needed to change. I needed to get out of my hometown, and James offered me up his extra space so that we can be together. We can work on more stuff together, and it's great for me because I will be much closer to the music scene than my hometown of Frankfurt was.
That is true, because that's like a half hour away.
I had to make a lot of I had to make a lot of long trips taking 355. Just like taking the toll road so often is a pain in the ass. Just like all the driving too. So I wanted to be closer to everything I got going on. So that was a big reason for me making this move, and I'm making it work. I'm
glad you did it, because like that drive to 355, that could be such a hit or miss. Sometimes it could go like that. Sometimes like it's like a parking lot. You know. Yeah,
man. Usually, because I'm driving up here in the evenings, it's smooth. It's always been smooth sailing for me, but still though, like I just feel dirty every time one of those toll bridges costs, and it's like, give me your money, you piece of crap,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are horrible. Well, no, I'm glad you're in the area. So when's the next show you're going to be having?
Well, since I'm a lot more local now, I will be making a lot more appearances, especially because I'm only a couple miles down the road from Johnny's Blitz, where I frequently see you, and there's just so much going on at Westmont that I feel like has been missing from the music scene in my hometown. Yeah. There's a few things here and there going on, but I can name all the open mics in a 15-minute radius from my place on like one hand.
Yeah, they need to make what they should do? They need to make a rule saying you can have so many open mics on a day per week. Because Wednesday has like 20,000 open mics.
Well, I'm sorry. You said what about open mics?
Like they need to make a rule where you can only have so many open mics on a day, because Wednesday has like 20,000 open mics and then Sunday has like one.
Yeah, well, in my book, it's better to have too many than too few.
Harsh just doesn't like all of those open mics because that's too many places for him to go in one night.
Yeah, exactly.
Split it up, spread the love all across.
Well, I mean, you do have a point there, because there is a lot of open mics, so everyone is spread out, and sometimes you go all the way to these places, and it's completely nobody's there.
Oh, he asked, you're talking about
I got
Frankfurt, Indiana?
No,
Frankfurt,
Indiana. Frankfurt, Illinois. It's like south suburbs of Chicago. It's like about as south as you can get before you hit cornfields.
I'm sorry, I have to address this comment. Natsky, the way it works is that we're in the United States and you're in Australia. So, you know, like different time altogether. Yeah. Okay. I just had to throw that out there. My bad.
We're past dinner.
Yeah. We're past dinner. It's fine.
Okay, gonna.
Why
say
are
that
you
to
worried
Joe.
how far of a drive that is, Hoey? It's not like you have to make it.
No, and I was making it like 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Yeah. Well, is Liam? I have to ask you: is Illinois Narnia?
No, Canada's Narnia.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it is.
I don't know much about Illinois, but that's because, I mean, nobody really hears much about Illinois.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Hoey says now you have to erase your carbon footprint from all of that driving back and forth.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Hoey
there's
also
no-
says, "Shut up about Canada and get back to the artist."
Well, do me a favor. Don't talk about my carbon footprint. Let's talk about Taylor Swift's carbon footprint.
Oh God, let's not talk about Taylor Swift at all.
Yeah, no, I prefer not to actually. But you're looking at my carbon footprint. I'm not taking private flights to go 30 miles.
Liam says the only way you'll have a bad carbon footprint is if you was riding a cow across Illinois, from cow farts.
Yeah.
Right.
He would have had to buy carbon offsets. Not a good thing.
We are all
Please
sinners.
know that's all they talk about in the Kansas City area.
Yeah, no, I prefer
Poor
not
Hoey.
to. I prefer not to think about why it's been 70 degrees in February.
That can actually be said about all states.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
I know. Also, like, where was all the snow this winter? Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's
This
fine.
is a great question from High End Hobo. He wants to know, are camel farts greenhouse safe? Apparently, I mean, there's nobody really fussing about camel farts, only cow farts. So,
Yeah. All the Middle Easterners are okay with camel farts, so
yeah, goat
Who are we
farts
to-
and camel farts, so it's fine.
who are we to be upset?
Sorry, Liam. This is what happens during our show. It's like a perpetual train wreck, and we always loop back to the original topic, but it veers off frequently
And
But
quickly.
I mean,
and quickly.
but yeah, that's the thing with some of these events. It's like if they're all,
Jackie's fault.
if they're at least spread out during the week, it's all good. But when they're all bunched up on a day or two, it's kind of weird. But anyway, I just want to know, how'd you get into the music industry? How'd you get into music, like playing the trumpet and all that?
I had been playing the trumpet since I was about 10 years old. Started in the 5th grade band. And then from there, I went into the high school marching band. I did the jazz band. I did the pep band. I did the pit orchestra for the musical. I was playing my horn for about 6 hours out of my day. And then I went to college for automotive technology after high school. Spent about 5 years in there, and then I just decided I wanted to do something different. So I got this Facebook ad for SAE Institute. It's an audio engineering music production school. So I had wanted to combine all the musical skills I've accrued from my past, pretty much my entire life from when I started playing piano at 5 years old. And I wanted to combine that with the technical skills I had learned from working in diagnosing, fixing and repairing automobiles and working in the auto industry. I wanted to take those things and combine them. And I found that, in the art of music production.
That's beautiful.
So I started my journey at SAE Institute, where I had learned how music with the technology we have now is being produced in the modern day, and the stuff that's out there now. Music production has never been more accessible, more affordable, more easy, more streamlined than it is now with with just the software that's available to the everyday consumer. It's beautiful. And it was, I was able to get into music production very easily with just a MacBook Pro, a basic Scarlett Focusrite interface. It had this condenser microphone lying around the house because my mom's a musician artist herself. So, and yeah, I just got to producing I learned how to produce from my own bedroom.
And the only attribute that High and Hobo has is that at 5 years old, he was extremely proficient on his big wheel. So these are comments that are coming up on the screen, Liam. I don't know if you can see them.
No, I'm not. I don't see the comments. What did they say?
Hobo says at 5 years old, he was extremely proficient on the big wheel. So you learned how to produce music, and he learned how to use pedals.
Yeah. But that is cool. You were able to do that on MacBook Pro. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. There's this. I'm using what I have right now. I've only been doing this for about a year, but it's from the things I've accrued in my files. I have stuff that I'm beginning to take pride in. It was a learning curve. It's been a learning curve, and it still is for me. But I'm building a list of people that I've collaborated with, and just continuing my own creative endeavors.
Oh, he says it sounds better than a SoundCloud rapper already.
Good.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he actually has original music, and it's actual music. So, I mean, that's inherently better. I agree with that.
Yeah, I have a lot of criticism about SoundCloud rappers because a lot of rappers that I've seen, that I've personally witnessed, they don't create their own instrumental tracks. They borrow something off of YouTube and just add their vocals on top of that. And for me, in my opinion, if you do that, that's not even like your own music. You're just taking an instrumental track that someone else created and slapping your raps over it. It just doesn't do it for me, because as a musical mind myself, I value good instrumental tracks. I think that's just as critical to a good song as somebody's rap vocals.
I mean, that's where all mainstream music is going anyways, is ripping off somebody else's background track nowadays, even if it's a kid's cartoon.
No, it's wild.
It's nice to see some originality. Thank you for doing that again.
Oh, he says it's like, quit rapping, go finish concrete.
And you know the thing that I hate about the rap industry the most? Most of that is fake anyway. They're a bunch of bad actors pretend to be gangbangers. It's like, if you are a real gangster, you're not going to be rapping. I'm sorry, that's not how that works.
It's a rappy
thing. No, I agree, because it's just, screw women, smoke weed,
bitches and hoes.
Liam, could you do that again? I didn't get the screenshot of that.
Bitches and hoes, bitches and hoes. Blah, 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 blah.
The fofo, bitches and hoes.
Blah, blah, blah.
That's terrible.
And then you look at them, and they're like some chicken leg little guy, just like, I'm the biggest, baddest guy around here. Booker T got nothing on me.
Yeah, the whole thing is a joke. It's cliche and it's fake. I mean, it's all fake.
High and Hobo also says the same thing. He says most of the rap industry is cliche. Of course, that is most mainstream music, which that is very true.
Right,
and then with rap too, their flagrant use of auto-tune. It's okay to use a little bit of auto-tune as some seasoning, but when you crank that response time to 0 and just turn the pitch tolerance all the way to 0, and you got that T-Pain stuff, you're just covering the fact that you can't sing,
Right. And that's the exact same thing that Robert Miller says. He says, I've seen SoundCloud rappers using Some mainstream beats then use their own verses to make it quote unquote original.
Right.
I mean, Beyonce just took the Franklin song and turned it into a country song.
Right.
Which I don't understand the celebration behind that.
There is no celebration. That is terrible.
You know, I mean, there was this, you know, the community. Oh, Beyonce made a country song. There, crossover. No, what happened to Charlie Pride? Where's Darius Rucker? Where's all these people at? You know, Charlie Pride. That's all he sang was country music. Beyonce's not the first. Chill out. She just has more money than these people do. That's the only difference.
And none of it was original. Not even her own verses. None of it was original.
Right. Right. And that's the thing. It's like one final thing on the rap thing. Until Tekashi 6ix9ine is like assassinated or something, I refuse to believe anything about rap is real. Like, how is it that guy can just?
How do you refuse to believe it's real?
Liam, what is your favorite genre of music to listen to on your free time?
I'm all over the map. But you typically find me listening to funk, blues, EDM, or a combination of all of those things. One of my most inspirational artists I take influence of is Grizz. He's an electronic music producer who he plays the saxophone, and he's heavily inspired. He's got heavy influences of rock, blues, and jazz in his productions. And he also, it's like electronic, wubby, dubstep stuff, but there's a lot of live instruments and live vocalists and things that make his work sound human.
So you definitely would not be caught listening to much house music then, of course, just because there's not much original instrumentation. So you really like to hear like actual instrument usage, not just computerized beats.
I mean, yeah, because computer, like when you solely rely on computer software to produce your instrumental tracks, it begins to lose its soul, I think. Unless the way to add humanity to electronic productions is using automation in your digital audio workstations. There's lines you can adjust for volume and all of the plugins you can have, and just that adds humanity to an electronic music production mix. But like otherwise, like I think a lot of it, like even if you make wubby dubstep stuff, and like it's good to have some live instrumentation. Like I
always find dubstep does have like a good heavy drum beat. Like they like to focus on that. It's what really drew me into dubstep, because I find myself to be all over the map when it comes to music too. So I was kind of curious to hear what your interest would be, or your inspiration in a sense would be for music, just based off of what I've heard from you playing. Like you can tell there's different inspirations from different backgrounds in your music.
Like when in Mongolian Beef, there's a section of the song where I put on a lot of different modulation plugins to alter the sound of my trumpet and make it sound all warbly and like electrified and like distorted in a way. But like I wanted that to be like the solo section of like the whole song, and then it just goes back to the regular sounding trumpets.
Ian Hobo says there is a canned house. There's some that's actually well produced. Being selective is key. Not when it comes to house, because all of it has the same beat. I mean, it never really changed. The only thing that changes is a few musical elements. Everything else is the same.
Oh, like when you get into electro swing, like when you start finding and listening to some of the stuff that has really, I adore electro swing.
That's not technically house music.
I wasn't saying it was, but that's what I'm saying. It depends on what you're listening to in that subgenre where you get into electronic, right? Because like he listed off, he did like some electronic funk, like there's different things that you do like. So when you get into house, like that's house music. That's why it doesn't venture off too much. Yeah, you can get well-produced house. You can get well-produced garbage too. I will tell you that right now. You can take something that sounds absolutely trashy, make it sound good just with a few flicks of your wrist. But to get something that is good at its heart, you have to have that soul in it.
Yes.
That underlying piece, the main piece.
So Mongolian Beef, it was my trumpet playing on it, but all of the other backing instruments were software instruments, but I performed all of it on this controller here. So it was like I was playing the keyboard. That bass line you were hearing wasn't a real bass. It was me playing this on the keyboard with a virtual bass, but a very like realistic interpretation of one.
Interesting.
Yeah. So everything, all of the instruments that you hear, the keyboards, the bass, the drums, they were all programmed by me, and I created my own backing track to play the melody on.
So with you just starting out, are these kind of like just the start of your main projects? Like, do you see yourself having a multitude of different projects that you work in on top of what you do with your producing, or are you gonna just kind of focus more on the production side after?
What do you mean by focus on the production side versus what?
Well, a lot of people that I've seen come out and start doing music, they obviously start producing their own stuff. They wind up with some really amazing projects. Like where I'm from, there's a band, Eternal Prophecy. They started out fantastic, but their main guy actually wound up he just wanted to produce other people. He wasn't no longer really, it was too much for him, if you know what I mean. Some people just can't keep it going, and the rest of the band fell out. So, but then there's also the people that you do know that go out and just start, like they have a lot of projects. They focus just on producing themselves, but through multiple projects, and never really go produce anybody else. They just produce their 27 projects.
I see what you're saying. Right now I'm pursuing as a business. It's going to be LVD Audio is going to be my business, and it's also going to be my artist tagline. Right now on Spotify, I'm seen as Liam VanDril Audio, but pretty soon I'm going to be changing and re-uploading everything as LVD Audio, because it's my initials. And I think it's easier to say. It's easier to get someone to pull out their phone and search LVD Audio instead of spelling out Liam VanDril Audio.
Also, anybody is interested in listening to his music, we just posted the link on all of the pages that we're streaming on.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. And
can we also
obviously,
make sure,
you can see how to spell his name there on the screen.
Can we make sure we include some? Correct. Are you going to send us some links for your other project there that you were talking about as well too? Because I would be very interested in hearing some of that. Not gonna lie.
I just sent to Harsh one of the songs I released, Alien from Another Planet. Also, I've got this song out called Broke Down Hoopty. So I can copy the link to that.
It's a song about Southern Louisiana, Broke Down Hoopty.
You would think it would be like some kind of country song by the name of it, but it's actually it was a quick little like electronic song.
Hyde and Hobo says there's a lot of people with musical talent but don't have much to say, as it were. Reggie Watts is a prime example.
Oh, I love Reggie Watts. He's hilarious.
Apparently Hobo does not like him.
No, Hobo doesn't like anything, okay? Like, it's a rare occasion that you find out Hobo likes anything.
Hyde actually knows Reggie Watts personally, or used to know him back when they were both in the Seattle music scene.
It was actually funny because I heard Liam mention Grizz, and I was like, I know that guy. I actually have him on my one of my playlists.
Like I was asking if you personally knew him.
Oh no,
Or
no,
you
no,
just-
no, not personally. I know his
No,
music.
High End personally knows Reggie Watts.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So that was a dig at Reggie in public. We're gonna get somebody tag Reggie Watts in the comments so we can get him here so he can beat up Hobo.
Let's leave that for Friday. I think we'll
Okay,
need that.
that's
for Friday.
Friday's show.
Yeah,
We're gonna get High End Hobo versus Reggie Watts.
Yeah, we'll get a hold of Reggie Watts and see if we can get him on the show. All right, but let's focus where we are today.
Cool.
Ticket prices is $20 each.
$20. Nobody's gonna pay for that.
No, I want.
We're gonna have to pay them $20 to come watch that.
You pay me $20 each to be here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay $20 for them to come watch that.
Good Jackie.
Hey,
Jackie's like,
I'm just here. Okay, I'm sorry, my bad.
We're just here.
Jackie's like, damn, I gotta, like,
Sounds like a very
Never
good
mind.
political argument starting right now.
And Holy always has to.
I had to fix something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was certain things that popped up in places on pages that we don't normally use that I had to fix real quick. So Harsh is like, yeah, we only normally stream to 4 pages, but let's go ahead and stream to 8.
Hey,
Hold on a
Liam's,
sec. I'm going to stream it to my main page right now.
hey, Liam's here, so I want to get as much exposure as possible. So
Yeah, the people
Yeah.
actually listening to the show, it doesn't matter.
I mean, technically, you got me, so
You hear that, LSU? Y'all don't matter.
yeah, you just gotta post on my page.
Dean Lucas says that sounds Southside Chicago. If I recall correctly, there was a shooting in downtown Kansas City for a parade. That didn't take place in Chicago. That took place in Kansas City.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Susie, I'm okay. I got sidetracked. Okay, thank you.
Are you okay?
Susie, look at what happens when there's only me here. Okay.
Oh,
Poor Liam's gonna have to freaking get some mental help after this. if he's
I mean, look at the way Liam's looking at us right now. He's like, why did I even agree to come here?
yeah.
I mean, it's just that
especially
look on
when
his
Harsh
face.
doesn't have a
Alright.
mohawk yet.
It's on my phone.
Anyway, so what is the first time you ever performed on? When is the first time you ever performed on stage as Liam VanDril?
First time I performed on, I don't know, probably when I was 6 years old doing piano recitals.
Like, when's the first
It's
time
the
you started
same.
doing gigs as a producer?
First time I started doing gigs as a producer.
as a producer, like,
Could you make up your mind what kind of question you want to ask him? I mean, you're going to confuse the poor guy. Figure it out, Harsh.
So I started playing out probably around March or so. The open mic at TR Distillery was the place I started frequenting to the most, and then kind of that's where I've met a lot of the musicians that I currently work with, and yeah, it just kind of I'm also in another project. It's a jazz fusion band called Los Tamales Jazz. I've been playing with them for over a year as well, and we just released our first album. It's called Tamales a la carte, and it's out on all of the streaming services and stuff. It's been played on the radio on 90.9 several times now.
Do we want to pull up one of his YouTube videos towards the end here?
I tell you what, if you want, Liam, if you send a link to your YouTube
Yes.
channel in the chat, I'll go ahead and post it to all the pages. Because we have people asking if you have any videos.
Well, they're asking us if we can pull one up since we like
Or
to pull up
any
Barry
video.
Manilow.
Pull up any vids.
Okay. Who should I send this link to?
Just send it to the chat that Harsh had
Okay.
added
on
you
the
to.
bottom of What's the biggest difference from being an artist versus being a
Hoey-
producer?
Yeah, Hoey wants to know what's the difference between being an artist versus being a producer, since you seem to have a background in both.
So being an artist, it can mean a lot of things, because you have visual artists and you have, musical artists. But a musical artist is someone who writes, compose, sings, and performs their songs. Whereas when you take the role as a producer, you are working for someone else. You are working for an artist to bring their vision of the song they're hearing to life. It could mirror what's going on in their head, or it can turn into something they like better than what's going on in your head.
It's a very
That was a great
interesting
answer.
way of putting it.
Good.
Hello, Joe.
Yeah.
How are you? With that background, Harsh should be wearing a straitjacket.
So
Thanks, Obo.
I just want to know where his mohawk is.
Remember we talked about it? Scott was supposed to wear a costume and then I'd wear a mohawk.
We don't care about Scott right now. We care about Harsh.
Yeah,
Liam,
but that was the
Look
bet.
at his
Remember?
hair. He's ready for a mohawk, right?
If you
He's
could,
already
Liam, go ahead
halfway
and send
there.
that
He
link
just
to me
needs to
now, and I'll
finish
go
it.
ahead and post it in the thread comment sections.
yes, you wanted a YouTube link or a Spotify link?
Yeah, just send me. I
YouTube.
already posted the Spotify link.
We want
Okay.
video.
They're asking for video because they're
Ooh,
vampires.
yes, I have a perfect video. I will send this to you right now.
Yeah, because we do have the opportunity to bring this stuff up and show as well while people are
All
here
right.
looking. As well, so
Okay,
if we
that's-
send a link to a specific video you want
right,
to
we'll
show,
get
we
back
can
to
show
that.
that video.
All right. So this is a live
Yes.
performance of the band I'm in, Los Tamales Jazz Band. It was our song Rojo. Yeah. P.S. Reggie Watts has a lot to say, but it doesn't come through as a recording artist, but he's a genius at live production, which comes through his comedy. Yes. The way he uses those loop machines is insane. He builds the song himself, mostly using his mouth, beatboxing, laying the rhythm down, and then humming a bass line.
Dean Lucas wants to know Liam, what do you prefer to do at heart, not versus what pays better?
What do I prefer to do at heart?
Yeah, like
Not-
whether do you prefer performing as an artist or do you prefer being a producer, like on a personal level?
I like doing both equally. I call myself an artist and a producer because there's art in producing someone else's songs, and there's a very fulfilling and rewarding feeling you get when you're able to bring someone else's song, when you're able to materialize it into tangible audio, which can be published to the entire world, to all the streaming services, just by uploading a WAV file. I think it's amazing. I equally find joy in both pursuits.
Awesome. Natsky says she'll send stars for a mohawk.
You'll get paid for this, Harsh. Like I said, we don't care about Scott
Yeah,
anymore.
you'll get paid
This is
for
about
it.
you. This is about you, Harsh. But I can understand that. Like there's an art to taking something somebody has done, which yes, they are the artist of that, but they are coming to you as a person because they view you as an artist already as well. And you do need that input. So it's like you actually get to take it and be like, let's add this. And now it's an even bigger thing than it already was. Like it's almost like collaborating without collaborating, and you get more enjoyment out of it because everybody knows that you had a part in it, but it's more like that hidden part of it that nobody understands but you. It's like when
when a producer does a good job, it's almost like they've done nothing at all, because the art you're creating should be centered around the artist that you're working for. There's little Easter eggs, or maybe a slight little producer tag you can throw on there. In some instances, hip hop music does that a lot, where you'll hear some strange little noise, maybe some something. And when you hear that little noise at the beginning of the track, it's called a producer tag. And that's like something producers do to mark their name on it.
I will admit, there are artists that I've stopped listening to when they swapped producers because their music was totally different.
Yeah.
Things changed.
So
and you can tell.
The producer you choose to work with is gonna be like it's gonna affect how your art sounds.
Absolutely.
Because every producer is on a different plane of experience, background, software that they use, plugins that they prefer. Like it's a whole thing. There is no producer that works the same way.
I really do believe DJ Khaled, because Dean Lucas says, just don't be DJ Khaled or however you spell it. I was like, I really think DJ Khaled just kind of like finds new music and goes, man, that's a great song. Would you mind if I yell my name on it? You know,
so that raises another question. As somebody that has watched, and clearly you have watched this industry for many years before you even touched it, what is one of the biggest flaws you see in production that people actually glorify?
What do you mean by glorify?
Kind of like the DJ Khaled thing. Like, he just yells his name on it. But, like, what's the biggest flaw you see in it, but it's somehow glorified? Like, that
I don't know about... I don't know about Liam, but I think my biggest one, the ones that I find the most hilarious, is whenever you see these DJs that's in front of like 40,000 crowd, events, and they'll have like a close up of the camera on their hands, and they're not actually doing anything. They're just pretending to turn knobs and pretending to move buttons and stuff, and it's all just a background track. To me, that's one of the funniest things to see.
Yeah, kind of like that situation. Like, it almost hinders the industry, but for some reason, the new age idiots love it. But it's actually hindering everything.
To answer that question in one word, sampling. Most hip hop music is based off of sampling, and the way I see that once again, it's almost like using the beat that you got entirely from YouTube. But I think sampling kind of makes a creative bankruptcy in the music industry. Just because, like, you didn't craft that chord progression, you didn't come up with that catchy bass riff, and now you're using it in your own music and calling it your music. Sampling can often start it can create other creative elements, but I don't know. I think that's just my opinion.
Natsky says your music is very jazzy.
Yes, I've been doing. I've had a lot of jazz exposure.
They are conflating being half with counterculture. You're absolutely right.
Well, yeah. All producer work. I mean, well, to be fair, that's essentially what somebody who makes backing tracks, that's all they really are, as a producer.
Yeah.
I understand they call themselves DJs, but that's really it's more of a technicality than anything. They're essentially a producer.
What are you doing? What are you, the FBI?
Because if your beat doesn't sound good or it's not put together correctly, which is what you have to do, then it's going to sound like garbage.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. from the one core thing that I've learned as a producer is the first thing you should do in every mix that you start. And I think that's another problem with a lot of music. Everything's loud. Everything is so loud and in your face. And the majority of modern music that we consume, the majority of pop music we consume, is just all loud all the time. There's no dynamic range in modern music, and it's an easy mistake to make in a song you're crafting. If you want things to sound better, turn them down. Turn them down a lot. You can still hear everything in the mix, and the mix will sound so much better because your ears aren't being assaulted.
Yeah.
That is my biggest take over anything with modern music, and that's a blanket statement across all genres of music. I don't want to make it sound like I'm exclusively shitting on hip hop music, because it does
plague. It's a huge plague across all platforms now, like across all genres. Like it's just doesn't matter where you listen anymore. It's plaguing them all. Even most of our modern rock and metal is starting to, you listen to it and you're like, you're just taking something else and going over it, and that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Like
it's horribly overproduced. There's overdriving in almost all of the audio, all of the instruments. There's no quality about it. And the main reason for that is a bunch of guys got together and they all were able to afford all of these new mixers that have these DAWs built into them. And they learn, they watch a few YouTube videos and figure out how to do a few things on it, and all of a sudden they think they're a music producer. It's not how it works. That is not how it works.
I will say this, though. There have been a few nice bands that have come out that have that original, that they're trying to do their own thing. They're trying to really stick to their guns of having it the way it's supposed to be without all that extra stuff. And then they get crapped on and being like, well, no, you're just ripping off this sound. And it's like, you're only saying that, though, because it's their vocals. Like their voice sounds the same. You're kind of crapping on them because they weren't gifted a different voice, which they can sing with.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I think just in our culture in general, everything's a sequel, everything's a reboot, everything's a rehash of old intellectual property. Just beyond music, there's an extreme lack of originality in the content in the ways we choose to entertain ourselves. And I think that's a blanket problem overall. I'm not just giving hip hop music a hard time for the sampling thing. I think just overall, I feel like there's a lack of creativity in the media that we consume.
Rock's been guilty of that too, though. I will admit that. I've listened to some bands. They're trying to branch out into that electronic rock with like dubstep and all that in it. So they'll actually, like, even rock is trying to get their feet in that door too, which is wild.
Yeah.
What is the best advice you were given?
The best advice I was given?
Yes, sir.
I have to think about that. I don't know, probably all the years of private trumpet lessons that I've had that have taught me everything I know now as a trumpeter. If that's a valid answer.
I'll take that as a valid answer.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
What's your favorite band camp story?
Wait, what?
I went to band camp. Everybody has a favorite band camp story. It's not just an American Pie joke. Everybody has a story.
That's a good one. My freshman year band camp, I had my group of friends. We had this one friend I had been friends with him through middle school, and going into freshman year of high school, and I don't know why I was friends with him, because he was kind of psychotic. Like, he took great pleasure in just like pitting his other friends against each other, and just quietly creating these bickers, these little arguments, and getting them so mad at each other. Well, he just loved fueling fires. Well, he fueled a fire, and this is at band camp. It was middle of summer. We were all rehearsing all day, just absolutely wiped, and nobody was in a good mood. And so this man was able to get us against each other to the point where he starts slapping me, just psh, psh, psh. And then he starts like tapping me in the nuts, like. And at this point, I'm pissed. I start swinging with my backhand like that, and I gave this kid a black eye. He didn't put a single mark at me, but you know what? He hit me first, and I threw one right back at him.
Yeah, he deserved it.
But then I looked like the asshole, because to all the bystanders, I was, you know, I was the villain, and nobody talked to me the rest of the week. It was I was like, I felt so bad.
But I mean, that's intimidating.
Yeah.
Hey, he deserved it.
By accident.
He deserved it. I'm sorry.
He
did know.
High-End Hobo says he was in band for 6 years and never went to band camp. Didn't even know it was a thing until American Pie. Well, it was a thing. You just never were invited.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, somebody was trouble without going to camp.
As far as that, my band camp stories are pretty pedestrian, because my high school ran a pretty tight ship. Allowed no shenanigans or tomfoolery.
Oh, we had our band camp at a lake, so there was always something to do. So always.
Well, the sad thing was I had traveled for my freshman year band camp, but then after that, it was no longer in the budget to go away for band camp. So band camp took place in my high school's parking lot, which I guess was convenient because you get to go home in your own bed. But then the whole band camp charade just goes away.
Oh yeah, now it's just, a concentration camp. But
High-End Hobo calls out Jackie Hyde.
I'm not going to deny or affirm that statement.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
I tried not to let it happen, but it just happened. I'm sorry. I take the bait.
That's awesome. We got Liam.
See, my school was the reverse. We didn't have band in high school.
We got Liam giving random people black eyes. We got Jackie asking about band camp.
Yeah.
So Hobo wants to know. I mean, Hoey wants to know what your band camp story is.
Oh no, we will not do that tonight.
Yes, I want to know.
She says, "Tell the world."
See, here's the really
tell the world,
because we did not have band camp in high school, so it was junior high band camp. And there's an ongoing battle between the flute players and the clarinet and the oboe players. And that was just an ongoing battle for years and years. And unfortunately, in grade 9, that turned into some oboe players missing their clothes and having to go for a run back to their lovely cabins stark naked.
Damn geese.
Yeah. Don't mess with the flute players. We're assholes.
Oh, he says stop. Stop immediately.
That's why I said.
You asked for it. How are you
going
to tell him to stop when you wanted to know?
You wanted to know.
Poor Hoey.
No, it was a bad war.
This will forever be my favorite comment right here on this show.
Yeah,
I can't pull my weight around. Okay, take some time to catch up.
Jackie's like behind the scenes work. I mean, she's like what keeps the glue together. She's the glue that keeps all of this together.
Yeah, in a sad way, that's so true. You know, it's like,
All
but
she
I
can
don't
do
want
is
to.
laugh. Poor thing.
It's
We're
it's
sorry,
like when I don't
Jackie.
want to deal with Scott anymore. I'm like, oh man, but what will Jackie think if I don't want to deal with Scott? And then if Scott gets tired of me, he's like, oh well, but what will Jackie think? So it's usually how.
Jackie will just light
No,
a
I did
fire.
not call her sticky. I said she's the glue that holds everything together, not she's sticky. That's totally different context.
Stick 'em, tape,
Jesus.
glue, whichever.
Liam's like, I don't know why I agreed to this. I really don't. It's,
Liam,
No,
thank you
just-
for joining us on this lovely Tuesday. Maybe
Thank you
we'll
for-
see you next Tuesday.
So
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking with you guys. This was
so
fun.
when's your next show gonna be?
March 27th. Logan Square Theater.
March 27th, Logan Square Theater. That's
my
one of them on the
birthday.
calendar. Oh, good for you! Happy birthday!
thank you.
Yeah.
But,
Happy
yeah, that's gonna be
March
with the people readers.
27th, Logan Square.
March
Joe
27th.
Logan says that Jackie is the regulator, which, I mean, she does live in Canada, so yeah, I can see that.
But-
We can wait.
Other than that, you will likely find me at one of the many open mics around here. You'll definitely be seeing a lot more of me at Johnny's Blitz. That's because that's only 2 miles down the road from me now. And I'll also be at the Shannon's open mic in Lombard, Shannon's cafe.
Oh, Shannon.
Yeah.
Shanahan's, right.
Shannon's, yes.
Harsh, look at that
yeah,
comment
I'll
that's
be
up on
around.
the screen.
Joe Logan says, I got a theater named after me.
What?
Joe
What's
Country.
the name of the theater, Joe? What's it? Is it the Joe Logan Memorial Theater?
Now, Liam, this show is international as well. So for those of us that have not seen the links, like where that you do have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Spotify. Do you have other social media that you broadcast live on when you do your live shows, or are those the best places to get those viewings from outside of being able to see them live?
So I've
person.
published all of my work on all of the stream. I use this service called DistroKid, which covers all of the streaming services.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you follow his Spotify channel, you'll get all of his new releases as he puts them out.
Yes. I just published another one today. It's gonna be out on March 15th. It's called My Gearbox is Broken, because it's a friendly little jazz blues song I made because the transmission on my car took a crap, and I featured noises from the grinding gears of that song. And from the grinding gears of my car, there's like sounds of that in there. So it's like I like to make my music, even if it's an instrumental track, kind of tell a story in its own way. So yeah, that release will be out on the 15th of March, Friday.
Dean Lucas says you must own a Chevy.
You shut your mouth before.
It was a 2004
fighting words.
CSX.
It's a Honda. So
Yeah, it was a Honda.
Yeah.
They don't make the most sound gearboxes from that.
sounds
time.
expensive, pun intended.
Yep.
In my Hondas, both my Hondas, my transmission went. Both of them.
Yeah. It's,
Holy's
it's a
such a
thing.
judgmental
They
person.
make good engines, though. They make damn good engines.
They
I
will
always look
last
at the
forever if
people-
you treat them great.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Don't throw them in the bush.
I didn't treat my last car great, and I paid the price for it more times than I could count.
James is on there. What up, James?
What's going on?
Now it's a party. Well, it's a party.
It's a party now. A party in the house.
It's something.
James, I was telling Liam earlier in the show about the time where I kept watching your Tickle Me Elmo music video and almost out of laughter. Paul was high as
Tickle me Elmo's a pedophile! Tickle me Elmo's a freak!
I'm not judgmental. I'm
Elmo's
hilarious.
pedophile!
Oh.
Sorry.
Somebody get the moderators in the comment section.
I know. You know, when you don't have any hair, then you become judgmental.
Mongolian
So
beef.
from holy and hobo.
Yeah!
Anyway, on that note, Liam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this. Great. Oh yeah, going light off celebratory smoke.
Exactly. Liam,
Stick
let us know
around
what
if you're listening online or on the radio. We will be continuing after the live is over on Facebook.
so
there you
Liam,
go,
let
Harsh.
us know- Liam, let us know you want to join the show again.
Harsh.
I'd be down to do this again next week.
Okay.
Harsh. Pay attention, Harsh.
Yes.
All right. But yeah, thank you guys again for having me. Have a great night, and it was great talking with you. It really was.
All right. This has been another edition of the Careless at Harsh Reality. We thank Liam VanDril for joining us. We thank Jackie Hyde and Joshua for being here as well. And we thank Scott Sonnier for holding down the ones and twos. This is Harsh Med, not number review. The life is harsh, but it's a living. And sometimes you got to color outside the line. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Yeah,
Good night, everyone.
Next Tuesday, then. Yeah.
Open your mouth when you